Hey, what's up, guys? It's Collins, local real estate agent here in the Chicagoland area. And a lot of people have been reaching out to me like, hey, Collins, what's up with this NAR lawsuit? What's going on? What's going to happen? And some of you are probably thinking right now, NAR settlement? What is NAR? So NAR stands for the National Association of Realtors, and there was a big lawsuit that was brought against them. And now NAR has agreed to pay $418 million as well as make a bunch of changes. Now, the real estate community overall is kind of up in arms about it. None of this is set in stone yet. It still has to be approved by a judge, so some things could change. But the potential changes that they're pushing within the settlement won't take effect actually until July of this year. So nothing has changed yet. But a lot of people are like, should I buy a house now? Should I not buy a house? Will it increase the price? Will it decrease the price? So there's a lot of confusion out there, and I've talked with a lot of realtors as well as inspectors, other people, and nobody really knows. But let's go through how we got here and what the potential changes are and how this might impact you depending where you're at kind of in the realm of real estate. So historically, when somebody wanted to sell their home, they would reach out to a listing agent who would talk to their brokerage, the seller would talk to the listing agent, and they would negotiate what the commissions would be for that potential deal and what the commission would be for selling that home. Once they landed on what the commission would be, typically it's 6%. I've seen a lot of fake news that the 6% commission is gone. Typically it was 6%, but it was never written anywhere that it has to be 6%. Everything was negotiable. So say if you're a seller and you didn't want to pay 6%, you wanted to pay 4%, you want to pay 5%, you could negotiate that out. It doesn't mean that the listing agent is going to agree to it, but you have every right to actually negotiate that deal and try to get the best deal for yourself when you're selling that home. But what the lawyers didn't like is that the buyer didn't negotiate with the buyer's agent on what they should pay the buyer's agent. That was negotiated from the seller, and the seller would pay that from the proceeds of the sale of the home. But the lawyers didn't like that. They said that the buyer should be negotiating with the buyer's agent, and then they should be able to reach a deal on what that commission should be, and it shouldn't be on the sellers. But the flaw in this thinking is that a lot of first-time home buyers, and a lot of home buyers in general, don't have too much money, especially with inflation running hot, the prices of everything. A lot of people don't have a lot of money. So now you're asking somebody who is a first-time home buyer who could only bring 3% to the table to try to buy the house. You're now asking them to come up with 2% or another fee to pay the buyer's agent, which probably isn't in the cards. So now they're going to be underrepresented when they're going to purchase a home that's likely the biggest purchase of their lifetime. And I think it's a bad idea overall. And it reduces a lot of the transparency. So today on the MLS, it lists what the buyer's agent is going to be paid. And if you go to a listing site like Zillow or Redfin or Realtor.com, you could actually see what the buyer's agent is going to make on that particular house that you like. And if you don't want to pay that much, you could always have the option of finding another house where the commission is lower. So let's go through some of the changes and kind of what the impact of this $418 million settlement is. So NAR reached a settlement where it will release them from liability from the litigation that was brought, as well as the 1 million members that are part of NAR today. The compensation offers or the commissions will be removed from the MLS. So now it won't be transparent. It will be off the MLS, and really no one will know until the closing what the buyer's agent is actually going to make, which I think is a negative impact. I like transparency. I think everybody wants transparency within a deal. And this also demands that buyers must sign a buyer's agreement with the buyer's agent that they're working with up front. This is pretty common practice today. Most good buyer's agents will be transparent with their potential clients and let them know what they bring to the table, what they should expect from them, put it in writing, And this also sets ground rules with the buyer so that the buyer's agent can explain what they expect from the buyer. NAR also agreed, like we said, we'll pay $418 million. To me, that's a lot of money. I wish they would have continued to fight this one out. Also, NAR gets to try to save face, which I don't think is possible, especially from all of the negative headlines within the press to deny any wrongdoing. But if you're denying any wrongdoing, why are you paying $418 million? Why wouldn't you continue to fight? So overall, I don't think we're going to see much change because a lot of buyers don't have the money to pay a buyer's agent. I think probably a lot of sellers will still set aside money to pay the buyer's agent if they want to sell their house. This might enhance what listing agents make. So you might see a lot more dual agency, but dual agency isn't allowed in every state. And if you're a dual agent, you're still probably more representing, even though you're supposed to be an unbiased party. If you partnered with the seller first, you're probably leaning towards the seller. And in that case, the buyer isn't getting really good representation. So I could see this hurting the buyer, especially if you have folks that are first-time home buyers, they're not comfortable negotiating. They've never really negotiated a deal. Now they might not have the funds or the money to actually get proper representation. So I think you're going to have to see a lot of sellers still provide a credit to cover what the buyer's agent would make in that deal. But let me know what you guys think in the comments. What do you think the changes are going to be to the real estate market due to this NAR lawsuit? Do you think it's going to change the game? Do you think it's a big nothing burger? I would like to get your thoughts. And if you haven't subscribed already, please do hit that like button. Thank you so much for watching. See you in the next one. Have a great night. Thank you. Bye.